Have you ever imagined being born without arms? No arms to wrap around and hug someone, no hands to hold another hand or to experience touch. What about being born without legs? Have you ever pictured your life without the ability to walk, to run, or to dance? Now, what if both these scenarios came together with no arms and no legs? What would we do? Born in 1982 in Australia, Nick Vujicic came into the world with neither arms nor legs. He was born with tetra syndrome or pochymelia, a rare disorder characterized by the absence of all four limbs. Now, while Nicholas could have complained of having no purpose or motivation to live life, yet his life is more joyful and more fulfilling than most able bodied people. He is a husband, father, successful entrepreneur, and world famous motivational speaker. He is also the author of several popular books widely loved and appreciated by people. He is the best example of how an individual moved from life without limbs to life without limits. This extraordinary individual overcame the barrier that his disability had created and now lives a very happy, independent, and wealthy life. Now, throughout his childhood, Nick dealt not only with typical challenges of school and adolescence, such as bullying and self esteem issues, but also struggled with depression and loneliness. He constantly questioned why he was different than all other kids surrounding him and why he was the one born without arms and legs. He wondered what the purpose behind his life was, or if he even had a life purpose. Nick eventually came to terms with his disability and worked on adopting a very positive attitude. Vujicic used his faith in God and support from family and friends to overcome his struggles. He became an inspirational speaker by the age of 19 and used his story to help others overcome personal challenges. Friends, Nick was born with a disability, and many a times we feel that external disabilities restrict growth and potential. But the truth is, you can have arms and legs and look perfect on the outside, but still be broken on the inside. We are more of inside than outside. When we understand this sentence, our journey to become limitless begins. Nick looked inside, ignored his outside, and heard an inner voice rather than the noise of sympathy and pity outside. While Nick was born with Tetra syndrome, a rare disorder characterized by absence of all four limbs, many of us suffer from a syndrome called as PLOM. And the word PLOM is an acronym for the phrase poor little old me. It is used to describe people who wallow in self-pity and always think that the grass is greener on the other side. Too many of us suffer from this PLOM disease. We waste too much of time complaining and feeling sorry for ourselves rather than taking responsibility for the quality of our lives and doing everything in our power to fulfill our God-given talents, abilities, and potential. Too many are sitting on their potential waiting for someone else to take care of them and solve their problems and make their lives better. We are often looking for someone or something else to blame for any troubles we may be having. The truth is that the individual responsible most often for the majority of our problems can be found looking back at us from our own mirror. The longer you run around crying, poor little old me, the deeper you will sink into this PLOM disease. Friends, if I had to name the biggest hidden impediment among young and middle age that acts as a self-sabotage to getting ahead in life, I would have to say it's self-pity. Most of us experience self-pity sometime in our lives, and it can really drag us down. Who hasn't enjoyed throwing a good pity party at one time or another? We take pride in hosting regular pity parties and inviting friends and others to our party. Whether you have been rejected by a love, or a loss of job, or a broken home, or a stock market crash, or you have just been overwhelmed by a looming deadline, throwing a pity party won't just help. In fact, feeling sorry for yourself can be downright self-destructive. The trap of self-pity is that it feels so good. Like any self-defense mechanism, it can ease the pain and make you feel protected. However, the truth is, it causes more damage than pain it's trying to elevate. For a time, it soothes the wounded ego, but ultimately it's going to keep you stuck and frustrated. It can prevent you from expressing your precious creativity and sharing it with the world. As John Gardner nicely said, self-pity is easily the most destructive of narcotics. It is addictive, gives momentary pleasure, and separates the victim from reality. When you let self-pity take over, you move from the feeling like a victim to actually becoming one. And that's when it becomes dangerous. Instead of swimming to get back to the coast, you expect someone else to rescue you. Now, self-pity is dangerous because it blinds you, it justifies your suffering, it makes you feel entitled because you believe you have privileges since you are an unfortunate victim, and finally, it becomes who you are. You play the part so often that you end believing that you are actually a victim. Friends, mentally strong people refuse to allow self-pity to sabotage their goals. Instead, they use life's inevitable hardships as a way to grow stronger and get better. If we blame negative circumstances for our place in life, we are giving up responsibility and control. We can choose to spread our misery, or we can choose to rise above our circumstances. Some of the ways to avoid self-pity trap that acts as a self-sabotage are: point number 1, exchange self-pity for gratitude. While self-pity causes you to think, I deserve better, gratitude is about thinking, I have more than I deserve. And changing the way you think can push away self-pity while also improving life in many different ways. Now, Nick didn't complain about his physical shortcomings, but made the most of it in his life. He said, I have the choice to be angry with God for what I don't have, or to be thankful for what I do have. The second area would be to know that we are good enough. Most times, we allow circumstances around us to determine who we are. And when we set out to achieve something, there's a little voice that always tells us, you are not good enough, you are too young, or you are too old to do this. Nick was surrounded by physical disabilities, yet he refused to let physical limitations defeat him. He was quoted as saying that the challenges in our life are there to strengthen our convictions and not to weigh us down. It's a lie to think that you are not good enough. It's a lie to think you are not worth anything. So whatever it is you are facing, do not dwell on the adversities around you. The third very important aspect would be self-compassion. Self-compassion is the antidote to self-pity. Self-compassion recognizes that what you are feeling is a part of human experience. It recognizes that other people too have suffered in the same way. Self-compassion helps you to see that you are not alone. It's about extending compassion to oneself in instances of perceived inadequacy, failure, or suffering. Learn to love yourself with all your flaws. Acknowledge that you have weakness, but embrace them and understand that no one is perfect. Stop pressurizing yourself to be perfect. And finally, the point that I love, switch the perspective from physical to the spiritual. We might be stuck in the midst of disappointments and disabilities, and it may feel overwhelming and all-consuming, but God sees a different picture. Rather than all the time looking inward or outward, we ought to look sometimes upward. God will take care of everything eventually, as Nick Vujicic himself said. Put a go in front of disabled and it spells God is able. Friends, victim thinking and self-pity have never served anyone. They only prevent individuals from moving forward, becoming self-sufficient and succeeding in life. It is up to you to make your life count. At the end of the day, we can wait to be rescued, or we can put one foot in front of the other, doing the best we can with whatever we have got.